Do you know how much time you spend on your social media platforms? What about watching television? Where do you get your news? This is what we're going to discuss today in my presentation about media consumption. So let's start with some statistics. This chart shows us the daily consumption of digital media, television media, radio, newspapers, and magazines. And according to this, the average daily consumption for digital media is 451 minutes, with television following with 229 minutes, radio 95 minutes, newspapers and magazines barely even register at 9 and 8 minutes respectively. Among the 18 to 29 age group demographic, you can see here that 42% of them get their news from a social media platform. Between 30 and 49, 38% get their news from a news website or app, with 50 to 65 coming in at 33% and 65 and older coming in at 32%. The journalism platform has now switched to our smartphones. So that begs the question, is this device our new in-depth research tool? I think we can all agree that given the state of media, given the state of journalism, and the proliferation of information, it requires a higher need for media literacy. Last year in 2020, I had the honor and great privilege of being asked by my alma mater, FIU, to be an assistant professor and teach a class called How We Know What We Know. And in my humble opinion, this class should be taught at every single higher education institution in this country. My official title was adjunct lecturer, and it was an incredible experience. So what I'd like to do is share some of the topics, some of the discussions, even some of the assignments that were given to the students in hopes of helping you become more aware of your own media consumption. So another statistic I wanted to draw your attention to is the growth of disinformation efforts between 2013 and 2017 in freedom of the net countries. So those are countries that aren't totalitarian governments with free distribution of the internet and data. It shows us that there's been a meteoric rise in paid pro-government commentators in public news and public information sources. Are you able to tell fact from fiction? Let's find out. So the goal of this presentation is to make you a more shrewd consumer of data. I'm hoping that after watching this, you'll be more aware of where you're consuming your data, who you're consuming it from, and the veracity of the information that you're digesting. So what are some of the ways that you can verify information and vet whether or not the information that you're consuming is fact or fiction? We first start with the cardinal rule of, with all information, consider the source. So here are 5 criteria for evaluating information sources. Number 1, authority, right? Where is the information coming from? Is it from a reputable news outlet? Who is the person delivering the news to you? Number 2, how current is the information? Is it relevant to the topics going on today? Number 3, the coverage, right? How is it being covered? Right? Is it citing reliable sources, right? Is it citing other reliable sources, or is it empirical? Is it primary? Is it secondary information? Number 4, objectivity, right? This is important. Are they just giving you the facts, or are they injecting their own opinion? And number 5, accuracy. Can you trace the source of the information back to verifiable, accurate information? So in today's online and social media world, it's not always easy to identify a bad actor. Specifically on social media, they use what's called trolls, or sometimes it's bots, and these are fake accounts that they use to proliferate bad information. Can you spot the bot? So here I've gathered 4 actual accounts that were online a couple of years ago. Play along and see how many of them you get right. All right, so number 1. We have Chloe Evans, and Chloe says she is a student from Atlanta, joined Twitter, this is Twitter by the way, She's following 196 people with 54 followers. And let's see what Chloe is posting. So you can see here she posted a photo of a dead horse. And this is one of Chloe's posts, all right? So let's see what it says here. But who's responsible? Question mark. Obama? Question mark. Hashtag dead horse. Hashtag chemical accident Louisiana. And it appears to be a post from a CNN article. What do you think, guys? Is this a real or a fake profile? Is this a troll? Let's find out. Yes, this is a troll. This is not a real profile. And let me get into some of the ways that you can detect that this is in fact a fake profile. So one of the old tactics that's still being used today with great effect is using attractive women in their 20s to proliferate information, right? For whatever reason, this works, right? So young, attractive women in the profiles work to disseminate bad information. Another tactic that's used is the hoax event, right? This is not an actual event. Look at how elaborate it is. They used a post photoshopped with the CNN logo with a fake news story and sent it out there to make you believe that it's actually real. Once again, the profile is fake, this news story is fake, right? The CNN logo and how the story is put together is a hoax. Profile number 2, let's look at Harmony Anderson. So Harmony says she's a college girl who managed to stay conservative. She's following 3,100 plus people. She's got 4,200 plus followers. And you can see here, one of her posts is about the First Lady. Let's zoom in and see. So this post is actually retweeted from a famous person. This is actually the actor James Woods, who tweeted something about the former First Lady, and Harmony retweeted it. So if you had to guess, would you say Harmony is a real or a fake profile? Let's find out. Harmony's profile is fake. This is a troll account. And let's talk about some of the ways that you can tell that this is a troll account, right? Lack of personal information. If you notice, Harmony says she's a college student, but she didn't post anything about family, about school, about friends, nothing about a pet, not a house plant, nothing, all right? And that's one of the ways that you can tell that that's a fake profile. Another thing we can use to decipher whether or not a profile is fake is the fact that they post and repost tweets or posts from other prominent figures. In the case of Harmony, you notice she reposted something from the actor James Woods. All right, let's go to number 3. And here we have Mr. Kamanyika. And Mr. Kamanyika says he's a scholar, journalist, and activist who works as an assistant professor in Rutgers University Department of Journalism and Media Studies in Philadelphia, PA. Joined Twitter in September 2009. You can see here he tweeted something about the Movement Alliance Project. Let's look at one of his other tweets. This is a reference to, I believe, the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. And it says here, and just like that, blue lives didn't matter anymore. So if you guys had to guess, would you say Mr. Shenja, I don't want to butcher his name, Mr. Shenjarai Kumanyika, would you say he's a real or fake profile? Let's find out. It is real. That is a real profile. And let's look at some of the clues on how we can tell that his profile is real. So one of the ways, and this isn't the gospel on this, but one of the ways, if you're trying to decipher whether or not a profile is real or fake, that you can tell is that real people list verifiable information. So you notice in his profile, it tells you where he works, right? It states that he's an assistant professor over at Rutgers in the Journalism and Media Studies Department. It's extremely detailed. So if you wanted to verify if this guy was real, or if he exists or if he doesn't exist, you could just call over to the university and they would be able to verify whether or not he is a professor in the journalism department. Another thing you can see here that he does is his posts are local, and a lot of his posts are talking about what's happening with the Philly police and funds that they expect, et cetera, et cetera. And number 4 is Mr. Mike Adams. And Mike says he's known as the Health Ranger and is an outspoken consumer health advocate. He lives in Austin, Texas. He's from Tucson, Arizona. He's got a lot of followers. He's got 54,000 plus followers. And Mike's tweet here, or actually this is a Facebook post, major US brands demand EPA take action to stop pre-harvest spraying of toxic glyphosate on food crops. Let's look at one of his other posts. So he's got a post here that says wheatgrass literally has the ability to turn gray hair back to its natural color. Okay, what do you guys think? If you had to guess, would you say Mike Adams is a real or a fake profile? Let's find out. It is a real profile. Mike is a real guy. All right, and let's look at some of the things that might not be as clear cut as some of the other ones, guys. Because here's the thing. Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, is a real person, but he is also the founder of the websites that he's promoting. He's talking about all these seemingly incredible products that he's citing the news stories about, but these news stories are from websites that he owns, right? And if you look here, Mike Adams uses social media to promote the tabloid-like stories from the websites where he sells his products, right? So this is misinformation for profit. It's kind of giving you all these, incredible stories about, turning hair back to its natural color with his products, and then citing these sites that seemingly back up his claims, but then he owns those sites. And he's not the only one who does this, right? A lot of these big corporations, they'll cite research from websites that are, experts in the field, only to find out that they own those websites and they're the ones who sponsored the research. And this is just a tip of the iceberg of some of the things that you have to be mindful of. You have to be diligent when you're consuming data to make sure that the person or the source conveying the data is not trying to pull one over on you. So external sources aren't the only barometer we need to check, so to speak, when we're trying to figure out if the information we're receiving or interpreting is valid or good information. Simply put, confirmation bias is a tendency we have to seek out information that backs up what we already believe. And as you can see from this animated illustration, you see here everyone's lined up to go see the reassuring lie feature, and no one is in the line to see an inconvenient truth. And this represents what a lot of us do, right? We hear information and we kind of reject the stuff that doesn't align with our beliefs and our philosophies, and lean more towards what we already believe, right? We want confirmation of the things we already believe to be true. I'm going to segue into a concept called the rhetorical triangle, and I'm bringing this up to you guys so you can be aware of it, right? Most of the pitches to us, whether it be a commercial, whether it be an advertisement, any type of marketing, is usually filtered through the prism of what's called the rhetorical triangle. And I don't want to get lost in the weeds in this here, because this is a concept that could have its own presentation. It's extremely sophisticated in how it's presented sometimes, and I just wanted to give you guys a little taste so you understand and see how politicians use it, how commentators use it, advertisers use it, marketing people use it. And it consists of 3 main parts, right? The first part is ethos, which is the speaker who's presenting the information to you. The second part is logos, the message. What message is being conveyed to you? And then the third part is pathos, and that's the audience. That's you guys, that's us, that's all of us Who is the audience that I'm trying to deliver this information to? And it was first introduced by Greek philosopher Aristotle. And Aristotle believed that in any presentation, in any speech, there are three elements that you absolutely must consider, and they're the three elements I just named for you, right? It's the ethos, the logos, and the pathos. The message, the audience, and who is the speaker. Let me get just a little bit more in detail about the rhetorical triangle. So ethos in Greek means ethics, and what it's referring to is the speaker. Who is the speaker? Is this person qualified to give me information? So for example, if someone's giving me information about the medical field, is this person a doctor? More specifically, if they're talking to me about a pandemic, is this person an infectious disease specialist whose expertise is in this area? What is their educational background? What is their profession? What do they believe? Logos, the message. Is it logical? Can I verify this information? Is it based in fact, right? So that's logos. And then pathos, that's us, the audience, that's me, that's you, that's everyone listening to a message. We are the third part of this puzzle, right? If a message is being delivered to us, the calculus is always how will that message be received by this audience? What is the emotional reaction that me, you, or anyone else is gonna have to this message? That is pathos, and it means emotion in Greek. So like I said, guys, I'm not gonna get lost in the weeds with the rhetorical triangle, but I wanted to share that with you guys so you understand that, some of the most skilled communicators always, route their message, route the way they convey their message through this prism, right? It's called the rhetorical triangle. And if you understand that, first of all, this speaker is going to try to appeal to my emotions when pitching a message to me. This speaker is going to craft their message and tailor it to me, right? Or to you, then you understand. And you're not, as easily manipulated. It's not as easy for you to get lost. And that allows you to be a more shrewd consumer of information. All right? Don't let anyone think for you. Think for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.